Hey, I never thought I'd say this. Like, I can't believe how happy I am to talk to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well in all seriousness. But, I just want to compliment Goody and his staff and the work that they put in to really go out there and do a great job. They're as good as any scouting department I've been around in terms of the time they put in, the effort they put in, the thoroughness, and just really happy with all the support that they provide for us. And then also our assistant coaches, they really dug deep in this draft and did a good job. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Jim O.
Yeah, Matt. So I guess we'll start. What was the conversation like with Goody regarding Jordan? Obviously, you had to put some work in there too and meet him and talk to him. So what were those conversations like? And then your thoughts as that decision came to trade up and take him?
Yeah, no, we definitely spent some time with Jordan. I had a FaceTime interview with him and myself and Nathaniel Hackett, as well as Ketsy. And, the one thing I took away from that is this guy is a humble guy. We showed some of his really good stuff because he is extremely talented, as well as some stuff. He has a music back. As well as some clips that weren't the best. And what I love about him is just the accountability he took for everything, whether it was a good play, bad play. And I think that gives you a chance anytime you have that kind of mindset. And so, the talent is there. He is a natural thrower. He is fearless in the pocket. He's athletic. And it's one of those rare opportunities where you never thought you'd be in a situation like you were.
Bill Huber.
Hey Matt, in your interview with Michael Silver, you mentioned that Aaron was going to be the leader of the team for a long time. I'm just curious, what's your definition of a long time is?
Well, Bill, you know how this league works, man. We are so, and I know you guys get tired of me saying this. It's about getting better each and every day, and we're going to take it week to week. But in my mind, I think Aaron is by far the best quarterback I've ever been around, and you could argue I think he's the best to ever play the game. So I hope he can play until he decides he doesn't want to play anymore.
Thomas.
Yeah, Matt. With the additions of running back, H-back, 3 linemen, how much have you helped your offense? And will this allow you to kind of put the kind of offense you really want to put on the field?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you never quite know how the draft's going to fall. And again, I think Goody and his staff did a great job of just making sure that we get the best player available at the time. And I think that's the way you go about it. And it's our job as coaches to find out what our players do well and put them in the best position. But I've got a lot of confidence, not only in the guys that we drafted, but the guys that are currently on this roster. And we know that the expectations are going to be great for this upcoming season, and we'll embrace that. And really looking forward to get to work with our guys. It'll be virtually this coming Monday.
Bobby Domofsky.
Don't you start too. Following up on Oatsy's question, Matt, the idea that you want to evolve the offense from year 1 to year 2, and I know you and Goody had both said you're looking forward to getting into another full off season with Aaron, with all the guys on offense. What kind of stamp can you put on it, regardless whether it's virtual or in person? Can the offense become more what your vision is in the second year?
Yeah, I just think when I think back to a year ago, and when you're going into it, you put together your plan, and without ever being on the grass with any of these guys. And so I think as we've gone through and gone through a full season, we have much better idea of who we are, of what we do well, and now it's on us to put that plan in place. If I look back at our day one install from last season to our day one install that is approaching this off season, it's night and day different. We have a better identity of who we are.
Let's go to Pete Doherty.
Hey, Matt, you didn't get much help for your defense overall and your run defense in particular, and I'm wondering, you decided to keep Mike Pettin on. When you guys met after the season and after that NFC Championship game, what did you decide about what needs to be done for the run defense, whether it be emphasizing scheme more or playing, maybe less dime and more nickel? How do you avoid a repeat of the run defense last season in general and that title game in particular?
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations about what do we do differently. And I think the one thing I love about all our coaches and our players is everybody looks inward and looks at themselves in terms of how can we do a better job. And that's certainly something that we've been studying this offseason, and we'll look forward to working on that in this virtual offseason, and hopefully once we get back to training camp.
Mike Spofford.
Yeah, Matt, just wondering if you could give us a kind of an overview or a general look at just how you're going to conduct this virtual off-season program with the coaches, the players, like how all the communication is going to work, if you can give us a general sense of that.
Yeah, so for the most part, the NFL has put some guidelines in place, no more than 2 hours a day for the classroom activities and no more than 2 hours for the workouts. Now, what we're holding our players to is just the virtual classroom activities. So what a lot of our meetings are going to be recorded and put out to their iPads, and then we'll follow up those meetings with whether it's quizzes, and then we have individual meetings each and every day for it's going to be about 20 minutes or 30 minutes just to kind of recap what it is that we pumped out to those guys on their iPads, answer any questions, and then we'll also dedicate 15 to 20 minutes to special teams.
All right, let's go to Tom Silverstein.
Hey, Matt. Matt, when you had a young quarterback, you had RG3 in Washington, you were quarterback coach. You had Mariota, you were the offensive coordinator. Now you're the head coach with a young quarterback. How do you plan to, do what you do in terms of coaching quarterback when, you've got a lot of other duties involved with Aaron and the offense and calling plays?
Yeah, I think that's always the balance that you're trying to find. I've worked with, like you mentioned, Tom, I've worked with Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins when they were rookies, Jared Goff in his second year when I was the coordinator in L.A., and you got to manage your time, and you got to be efficient. And thankfully, I'm surrounded by such great coaches in Nathaniel Hackett and Luke Getzey that I feel very confident that we can train these guys the right way and give them the coaching that they need to hopefully become the best players that they can become.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt. We all read that piece that Silver did in this conversation with you. I guess I'm curious, what is the challenge for you to go, everything you said about Aaron just a couple minutes ago, you love him, you said that to Mike, and then you're also obviously really pumped to help this young quarterback and Jordan grow. What is the line for you to walk? Because in some ways, the starter guy is your guy, and then also you're obviously excited about the guy who theoretically will someday replace him. What's it going to be like for you and from a relationship perspective with both of them?
Well, Jason, I just think that's our job as coaches, is whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Tim Boyle, Manny Wilkins, our job is to provide those guys with the support to try to help them any way we can so they achieve their potential. And that'll always be my mindset, whether we're dealing with Aaron or a rookie. That's why I got into coaching, because you love working with people. And, we've got a great group. I love all those guys, and just looking forward to being able to communicate with those guys a little bit more on a regular basis moving forward here starting Monday.
Aaron Nagler?
Matt, I'm wondering, with the buzz around a lot of these young quarterbacks who are coming in, and there's been talk of kind of possibly replicating what we've seen happen with Taysom Hill down in New Orleans, have you given any thought to possibly getting a package for Jordan to play right away?
That I have not given a whole lot of thought to be truthful, but that's something we're always trying to explore, new ways to, really try to, whether it's deceive defenses or just stress defenses is probably a better term. We're always looking at ways to do that, and if that opportunity presents itself, that's where we'll go with it. I really haven't put a lot of thought into that.
Dennis Crosby?
Coach, how do you feel about the receiver group that you have? Brian was not able to add to it in this draft, which a lot of people thought was pretty receiver-rich.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of confidence in our receiving corps. Devontae Adams, true number one in this league. I can't tell you how much, especially when you go back to the Boston setup. Alan Lazard, just the things that he brought to us from a physicality standpoint. He made a bunch of big plays. Most notably, the one that pops in my mind right away is the big 3rd and 10 that he caught a touchdown on versus Detroit, where he went up and got the ball. Jake Kumerow made big plays for us last year. We need to find ways to get him more involved. And then I think if you look at MVS, the speed that he has, he's got to take that next step, and that's going to be a challenge for him, and we're going to be all over him to do that. EQ is coming back. Really excited about him being back in the fold. And then you add a guy like Devin Funches, who I can't wait to start to work with, because here's a big physical receiver that is extremely talented and a good better and present. So I feel really confident in our receiving corps, and we've got 2 other guys, Malik Taylor and Darius Shepard, that are young players that I really like. We added Reggie Douglason to the mix, and so I do think we have talent and we have depth at that position.
Mark Daniels?
Thanks, Matt, on the draft. Can you just talk about how you're going to assimilate A.J. Dillon into what you already have with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, and now it looks like you have 3 almost, distinctly different types of running backs?
Yeah, no doubt. You just this league is, it's a physical league, and you need to have talented runners, and we definitely have some depth at that position. Then you factor in the fact that we've got Dexter Williams, we've got Tyler Irvin that can go in there, and Samaria Crockett. So, we've got some good competition at that position, and I'm looking forward to seeing how those guys respond to that.
Matt Schneidman?
Hey, Matt, I was just curious, what role do you see your 3rd-round pick, DeGuara, filling? Could it be something similar to what Danny did for you guys last year, or do you see him maybe doing a little bit more for you guys on offense?
Yeah, I love Josiah. He is extremely versatile. The thing that he brings to our offense is we can be in the same personnel grouping, and we can line him up on the line of scrimmage or in a wing alignment, or we can line him up in the backfield. So I just think that adds stress to a defense in terms of how are these guys going to line up and what is it exactly they're going to do. But when you watch Josiah, you just see such a gritty tough player. I'm very close with the offensive coordinator at Cincinnati, Mike Denbrock, and he raves about the guy. The play that comes to mind is when we actually showed this to our team, ironically enough, last season in a team meeting when we're talking about effort and grit. There was a play versus UCLA where there was an interception, and just the effort he displayed to run down the defender and make an unbelievable play on the ball. I think it really epitomizes who he is as a football player.
Steve Gazy.
I just wanted to ask you about Runyon. He played primarily tackle at Michigan. Also, are you looking at starting him out at guard or tackle, or seeing if it's best or what?
Yeah, I think that suits his skill set best is to kick him inside. He will compete to play inside, but here's another guy, extremely smart, great character. Started almost 3 years at Michigan, so we're excited about him.
Brandon Kennard.
My questions have been asked. Thank you.
Brian Wing.
Matt, on a lighter note, I was just wondering if you saw the picture of your son that went viral about the look on his face on one of your picks. Just wondering if you saw that and your thoughts.
I did have to see that. I got many text messages from people with that picture on it, and that's I don't know if you saw the first shot of us on camera, and I don't know what was going on in that picture, but his mother made sure that his hands were above the plate.
Pete Doherty.
Hey, Matt, just a follow-up to my initial question. I know this is a passing league, but does Mike have to change his approach to stopping the run? And, he had the funny saying that it's a lot faster to fly to Miami than to walk there. But do you guys need to change your approach and mindset about stopping the run?
I just think it's game by game. If we know that a team is going to try to run the football to beat us, then we better make sure that we take that ability away. I think we've got the talent on this football team to do that. I'm really excited about some of these additions of a guy like Christian Kirksey as well, and to help us inside and at that linebacker position. But I've got a lot of confidence in that ability to have a great game plan and adjust moving forward.
Ryan Wood.
Matt, to follow up on Josiah, when you speak of his versatility, do you envision him maybe having a Kyle Juszczyk type role in the offense? Not necessarily maybe the production of Juszczyk, but that kind of role. And then also to follow up on the question that Jason asked you earlier, your job with quarterbacks is to support them, but do you anticipate that being a difficult balance for you to strike with Aaron knowing that his potential heir is in the locker room, in the meeting room with him?
Well, to answer your question about Josiah, we will try to simulate some of that stuff in terms of how the Niners use Juszczyk, but what was the other question again? Just
as a coach, as you said, your job is to support all your quarterbacks in the best way you can. But do you anticipate it to be a difficult balance for you with Aaron, especially after having spoken with him, knowing that his potential heir is right now in the locker room, in the meeting room, and around him? Is that a difficult balance to strike for you?
I don't think so. I think Aaron's a pro. I can't speak enough about his leadership, his value, his importance to this football team, and he is the one that leads us out there. And I know he's going to be a great mentor, and I'm just, I'm excited to get back to work with all these guys.
Let's go to Olivia.
My question's been asked. Thank you.
Bill Huber.
Hey, Matt, with the running back, how do you, I realize a draft is about more than 1 year, but how do you divvy up carries between three of these guys? And do you envision sort of the same thing with at Tennessee where you had the kind of big guy, small guy combination?
Yeah, I think it's such a competitive situation. You know, we feel really confident in really all three of those guys that have with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams who've proven it at this level. You know, A.J. Dillon's got to come in and he's got to prove it, and he's got to compete with the other guys that we have on the roster with Dexter Williams, with Damari Crockett, and then adding Tyler Irvin in that mix. I thought he gave a little something from that position late last season.
Ryan Silverstein?
Matt, when you were in Tennessee, you got to witness what Derrick Henry was able to do in the late part of the season, when guys are tired and a big running back, punishing running back. Did that have an impression on you, and were you thinking about that, about late season with that kind of a guy with A.J. Dillon?
Yeah, it absolutely has had an impression on me, but I don't want to compare AJ to Derek, other than the fact that they're both big humans that run really fast. But I think anytime you get a big back in cold weather places, I think towards the end of the season when teams get a little bit beat up, I think it's a challenge to tackle. So we're excited about his skill set, what he brings, how explosive he is, and the other thing that you never really got to see from him is just I do think he's got some versatility in the pass game. He's got really natural hands.
Chris Ross?
Hey, Matt. Goody was giving you a lot of praise, you and your staff, for how creative you guys have been for this virtual off season. I'm just curious, because there is so much uncertainty going forward, at what point do you have to start making all kinds of different plans for what training camp may or may not look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think that's a work in progress right now. I think we're, just trying to take input from everybody. And I can't give enough credit to Nathaniel Hackett, just his ability to really think outside the box, kind of got us going on the route that we went. Mike Ballbach, just the support he gives us from a football tech standpoint to get us going. And, I'm excited about this offseason. Talk to our players, just kind of giving them an outline of what's to come. And I'm just looking forward to their feedback and see how we can make this the best virtual offseason that there is out there.
Jim? Jim O?
Yep. Sorry about that. The world kind of changed, obviously, in the last few weeks, so with this, Matt. So what did you see in Jason to promote him to receivers coach? And then, obviously, now he may not get his hands on these guys. So what kind of challenges may that present him as he tries to work with these guys through this virtual draft? Devin, especially since he's new to the club.
Well, Jason Brable was with us last year. He was a quality control for us. He was in the wide receiver room. I'm so impressed with his work ethic, how detailed and thorough he is. He knows what we're trying to get done. He knows why we're trying to do everything. He is one of the hardest workers I've ever been around. I think these guys, if they get to know him, and most of our guys, are back, and they do know him. So I think they'll have a lot of confidence in him that he'll be able to show them the why and the how to do whatever it is that we're asking them to do.
Ross Evelyn?
Hey, Matt, congratulations on the draft class. With Kamal, what did you guys like in him, and do you anticipate him playing more where Blake did, or kind of where you had Oren? Would he be backing up Christian, or maybe playing alongside Christian?
I think that's to be determined. I think what you like about Jamal is he's big, long, and fast. He's almost 6'3", 240 pounds. He's really long, 34-inch arms. I think he's going to compete at both positions, and it's really how fast he can pick it up. But I think this guy has got a lot of upside.
Thank you, Matt.
Matt Schneidman.
Matt, I'm just curious, since we haven't talked to you since free agency, what do you like about Rick Wagner, and is the intention to have him be your starting right tackle?
First of all, what we love about Rick is he's played a lot of football, and he's a veteran presence. You know the game's not too big for him. He's going to come in, and he will compete, and that's the thing with everybody. We're going to make everybody compete and earn those positions. So, but definitely excited about this. The player, the person, everything I've heard about him is that he is such a team guy. He'll be great in the locker room, and so can't wait to, let him come in here and compete for that spot.
Pete Ortiz.
Hey, Matt, nickel corners are basically starters. What are you guys going to do there? And is Tremont Williams a real possibility?
I think that's more of a question for Goody, but definitely we have guys on our roster with, Shannon Sullivan did a nice job in there. Josh Jackson's had some experience. If need be, we could always look at putting Jair in there. So I think we have some options, but that'll play itself out here in the future.
And last question to Aaron Nagler.
Matt, I was just wondering, with at least one team in the league having told their guys, look, just go take care of yourself and we'll see you in camp, did you give any consideration to that, the idea of the virtual world just being a bit chaotic and telling guys we'll see you after the summer?
No, not really. I mean, going into year 2, I think there's a lot that we can improve upon, and I think we can do it just with really the emphasis for our guys is going to be learning the details, making sure that we know why we're doing exactly what we're doing and how to do it. And I think you can accomplish some of that stuff by having these virtual meetings. And, then it's really on the player to be disciplined in their approach, make sure that they stay in shape, make sure they're working on their craft, and that's the expectation. I mean, these guys are pros, so that's what we'll get these guys on Monday.
My apologies. You actually have 2 more. Andy Herman.
Yeah, Matt, as you were preparing for the draft, was there ever a conversation that you had with Brian about needing a specific type of player to be able to run your offense the way that you want to?
No, not necessarily. We just want as many good players as we can, and it's our job to adapt to our players and find out what they do well, and then highlight that. And that's exactly the approach that we're going to take.
And the actual final question will go to Bill Huber.
I hate to be the one beating this like a dead horse, but with Aaron, in that Silver Stripe, I believe it said that you had talked to him. Can you talk about the tenor of that conversation?
Yeah, I don't want to get into specifics, but I will say this. Aaron's a pro, and he's the leader of our football team, and I anticipate that for a really long time. And I've got so much respect for him, not only as the player, but the person, and some of the stuff that nobody sees. And so I can't tell you how much I like working with him.